Okay.
This is the laser wrap, which again is, it's a whitefish fly.
Excuse me? Whitefish?
Yeah, Rocky Mountain whitefish.
Okay.
This is one that you originated yourself, isn't it, Emmerson?
Oh, yes, but, oh shoot,
Well,
I
that's
made
why
a
I'm
mistake
here. Make sure
here.
he ties it originally like I tied it first.
I just made a mistake by pinching the barb here. One of the difference between the Emmerson Nymph and a Wiebe Worm is actually by crimping it, I made it into an Emmerson Nymph. A Wiebe Worm actually has a barb, and it took me a long time to figure out what the barb was, why the barb was on the hook. You know, and Brian wouldn't tell me, and then I finally realized it helped him keep the maggots on.
Maggots? Oh. We won't even get into that, Emerson. Maggots. You're the maggot king.
It's a white bead.
Oh, is that what you're supposed to use?
Yeah.
Oh, you should have told Emmerson that.
So it's a number 10, about 3X hook with a 1/8 gold bead. But this fly probably started in October of about 1975.
Yeah.
That'd be about the first time we went to the Charlottes.
Yeah, so that would probably have been June or July, and we started tying some flies up for our first trip.
And actually, the original sort of a long ways from where we ended up was a salmon fly, and Brian had discovered a pattern that used pink bicycle streamers. You remember the bunch that the kids would stuff in their handlebars? It was a fly mainly for pink salmon. It had a body that was that with
it was kind of tailored after a sky comish sunrise in a way, if you guys know that pattern. Especially the red body, but yeah, the laser wrap, it just made it glisten. It was very, very good fly.
So we'll start with a little bit of crystal flash for a tail. And so we started with it as a salmon fly, and then thought, gee, that material, that pink bicycle streamer works pretty well. So then we started using it in San Juan worms. And it worked okay. And then we ended up with laser wrap came out. So we started putting laser wrap on San Juan worm hooks. And it worked very good. But the San Juan hook was not we started getting a lot of whitefish, but we missed a lot because the San Juan hook would not work on whitefish.
Yeah, we were using the Kaylee hook and the curved. Just wouldn't, you'd lose a lot of fish. We were getting better hookups if you bent the hook outward a little bit. But
so, yeah.
But I don't know, I just didn't. And then we just decided to try the straight hook. And
yeah.
I think that's, Emmerson probably tried that first, and then after that, I mean, this fly has been bastardized so much that...
But when we went to the first part, the straight shank hooks, I'm not putting in a little crystal, about 10 strands of crystal flash for a tail. We started getting a lot more hookups on the whitefish because they could get their mouth around.
Suck it right in.
Yeah.
And then it sort of progressed, from that, adding a bead because the bead got it down deeper, and then just trying to make it a little prettier.
But it works well on whitefish.
Well, we've also gone to, I don't know, do you tie yours with a mylar body underneath?
Yeah, I put some tinsel.
Silver tinsel,
Yeah.
or you can maybe use a crystal flash just like
Now
that.
we're tying in a little bit of gold wire.
Yeah, it really makes it flash a lot more.
Sure does.
Yeah.
But I found out that this is about the only size. It does not work very well in a very small size. I don't know why, but they just seem to ignore it.
And you tie yours mainly on a size 12?
10 or 12.
10 or 12?
Yeah. I don't know what you use last.
I've used them, and I agree with you. I've tied them down to as small as a 16, and I've caught fish on them, but not near like the bigger one does. And Emmerson was saying it's a whitefish fly, but You know, I've caught a lot of rainbows and I've used it through the ice too, effectively.
Well, I'll bet you would,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would really like to tie this on using the balanced leech hook.
Here's, the next is the laser wrap. It comes in several colors. This is a flame red. You end up with kind of pinkish fly. And there's flame orange, which is almost like a salmon roe, or it's an orangey fly. And then my favorite is the flame fire orange, which gives you a redder color. I'll send samples of all of them across to you. You can look at the difference. They all catch fish. Sometimes one works a little better. But one thing I found with this fly too, I will not, if I think there's a brown or something in a run in the red deer earlier in the season, I won't go through with this because I think it scares them.
Is that right? Hey, I was just gonna ask you if you've
Yeah.
ever caught a brown.
I'll go through, I've caught a few, but not very many. I'll use the San Juan worm or something else until I give them a chance, and then I'll go through. To cut the material, the only effective way I found is to, those round wheels that used for fabric. If your wife's into sewing at all, is get one of those, and the boards you put it on and just use a ruler and go, because if you try and cut it with a razor blade, you start dragging it and you don't get
Piles
an
up
even
with it,
cut.
yeah.
Until Dave Murray here, he had a cutter he showed me last
Oh,
week.
that was a pizza cutter or some darn thing he would use.
Oh, what the heck?
They look like pizza cutters. Yeah, and I have
Well, this
mine
does-
for foam.
No, his was, it looked like a scalpel, but with double blades.
Oh.
You could adjust, it worked.
Oh, I hadn't seen that.
So we just start with the laser wrap up near the top, get it started in behind the bead, and then, oh,
Then pull it out and try again.
yes, you want to stretch it. Then you get a lot finer fly if you kind of pull on it. And
You never tie them on a curved hook? Eh?
no, the only one I'll maybe use is this 200R Tiemco.
Okay.
It's got a slight, I don't know if you can see,
Like, yeah.
slight curve. But again, I wouldn't tie it any smaller than a 10 or a 12 3X.
Have you ever used them in the lakes?
I have never tried them in the lake. I think Peter, did you try them in whitefish at all?
No.
No? Okay. I would think they would work for,
I don't see why, like, they should work for a rainbow on a lake.
You know,
I've never
yeah.
tried them, but
We
they should.
sell the bigger, like a San Juan worm, but with the wire, and that's very effective. So I don't know why this would
Yeah.
work.
I'm gonna try it this
Indeed.
spring.
just a little trick with this material. If you tie it in gold side up, as soon as you start wrapping, you'll end up with the silver side up. I was using it on Saturday down on the red deer, and first part of the first hour or so it wasn't working worth a damn. They were all taking the little mountain midge. But this is one fly I use even when it's not working.
Well, it's gotta be an attractor.
I think it's a great attractor pattern.
Yeah.
You know, I think it moves them in, and then they see the, you know, the little fly
Behind it,
18
yeah.
inch below it, and then they take that one. Take the laser wrap, and you want to overlap it quite a bit because a lot of the brightness in this comes out of the edge of the material rather than the side of the material.
Well, the other name brand that the product's marketed under is Edgebright.
Edge bright,
Yeah,
okay.
and I don't think, can you even get edge
I'm
braid
not
anymore?
sure.
I don't think, yeah.
And again, tie it off near the front, the laser wrap, and then pull it tight. And get a much neater finish on it. Now, the gold rib is optional. If you want an extremely bright fly, I think it's brighter if you don't use the gold wire, because I think that takes some of the edge off. It basically follows the edges and cuts it off.
You like me, Emerson, you'll change it up to silver or gold or...
Underneath?
No, your rib.
I use either gold or copper.
Yeah. I haven't tried red yet. Oh, red could be pretty good too. That's what's cool about this fly. You can just do so much with it. You can add, like I've added a beard on it before. I've added a wing, and I always use the crystal flash for them just to give it more flash. Yeah.
Anyway, it didn't do anything for the first hour on the red deer. I don't know if I caught a fish on it. And then whether they went on the feed, then they moved, and many of the fish were coming on it then. But a lot of small fish on Saturday.
That's good.
Yeah,
That
that
means
is
they're
good, because
breeding it.
there hasn't been small fish for a long time, and I bet you,
That means
you know,
they're breeding.
2/3 of the fish were,
Yeah.
you know, in that 11 to 13 inch range.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Then sometime we ended up progressing to a collar, a peacock, and I think that's just to make it look pretty, but I don't know if it does anything or not.
Oh, it does.
You think it helps?
You cannot tie without peacock. No way.
I just wish they made it
You might have to figure
stronger.
out a way pretty soon.
Is it getting hard to get?
Country of India has forbidden all export peacock.
They what?
India has forbidden all export of peacock.
Is that right? So now we're gonna start paying,
What's the reasoning for that, Joe? Hey, Dave. What's the reasoning for that? Any
They
idea?
didn't tell me.
Because peacock, you don't have to, you can pick it up after the birds drop it, can't you?
Yeah.
I thought that's how they harvested a lot of peacock. Oh, getting carried away here. Just wrapping it with the thread to make it a little stronger.
Yeah, it's not like they're the only country that was ever exporting any peacock, right?
God, you mean I gotta go to the Calgary Zoo again?
There you go. Scare up a few of those peacocks.
Yeah.
He lost them all, neighbor's dog. Shot the fucking dog, but
What's that?
I had a source in my Fish and Game Club. He had a bunch of peacocks, and his neighbor's dog came in and killed all his peacocks.
Oh,
So he shot the dog, but he didn't buy any more peacocks. My source withered up.
ah. Just whip finish it.
So which one do you use most, the 10 or the 12?
Probably the 10.
Bigger one, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
He thinks you'll get bigger fish.
Actually, on Saturday, the bigger fish were coming on this. The other one I was using, well, I'll pass it around, was the little mountain midge.
I found the pattern. You gave me one and I lost it. I couldn't find it. I searched and searched. I was cleaning something out the other day and I found it.
And there is a laser wrap.